Hello everyone, welcome to the tutorial and color along today in the new Creative Haven Gnome for the Holidays that just came out this month, September 2024 by Teresa Goodridge. Today we're going to be coloring the cute little gnome witches with the cauldron, making some kind of a potion. It's really cute. I have here my palette for you. A few things at the time of filming that I have to update. When it's completely done and this tutorial's done, I update it, I photograph it. It'll be attached to the bottom of the Patreon as a JPEG, and you can save it to your computer or your device and use this to pull all the colors and put all your colors in a little basket so you can pull from them as we go, because there are a lot of colors for this picture. And at the time we're filming, it may not be fully updated, but I sometimes update it as I go. But usually I put everything ahead of time into my chosen colors and my swatch. The few things you're going to need, of course, are the book. We're using Prismacolor pencils from the 150 set today. You will need, and I recommend this in most of my videos, a Prismacolor blender stick, stump pencil. I call it a Prismacolor blender. You can get it in a pack of 2. They're used for dry. We use it dry for blending the colors to give a nice matte look and a finishing look, which is important. For the Prismacolor pencils, I always use the Prismacolor one, and for every other waxy or medium wax oil wax pencil, I use the Soucolor ones, because you can get a 6-pack. You're also going to need a good brush. Prismacolors are known to make crumbs, so you can brush things off your makeup brush, your page. Do not use your hand or you'll swipe it right across the paper. And of course, a good pencil sharpener for Prismacolors. I use the Doll 133. They don't break. You only need about 2 good cranks of the wheel. The handheld ones tend to break Prismacolors more. I rarely have ever any breakage when I use my Doll. And of course, if you get it really too sharp to a very sharp, dangerous point, then the second you hit the paper, the little tip will snap off, but that's okay, because even if the point held, the minute you start coloring, it's going to become flat. So don't worry about that. And I do sometimes use my Derwent electric eraser, which I didn't use for the first 6 or 7 years of coloring. So if you don't have one, don't worry about it, but it is a lifesaver. I wish I had discovered it sooner. And that's it. So we're going to just have fun, and you can follow along with me. Keep in mind, when you're doing things like pumpkins, nature, leaves, you know, we kind of use a gradient pattern and different blending techniques. Everybody's is going to look a teeny bit different, of course, because it all depends on, you know, the pressure you use and the exact amount you put in yours. So there's not a specific exact way. For example, for leaves and pumpkins, there's so many different ways. In this group, I'm focusing on helping people grow their coloring skills, not jumping right into expert advanced level to overwhelm people that are beginners or mid-level or intermediate, but not advanced. So we're just here to grow our coloring skills, make beautiful pages, have fun, and learn what we can. So don't be hard on yourself, and let's get started. This is a detailed picture. You can see why there's a lot of colors. I don't usually take mine out of the book, even though it's perforated. We're going to start, I think, with the pumpkin. Oh, that's interesting. We'll start with the big pumpkin, which is pumpkin orange, mineral orange, and yellowed orange. Sometimes when I'm doing a pumpkin, I don't tend to do the cutouts. The cutouts are like as you know, inside of a pumpkin, it's like a peach color. I tend to come back and do all those after. So we're just going to mostly do the outsides and the stalks and come back and do that. And so I do tend to bounce around a little bit as well, depending on which pencils I've pulled. So let's get started. You can see from the swatch that it's pumpkin orange, mineral orange, and yellowed orange. The pumpkin orange is the darker color. I do tend to start with the darker colors to the mid-tone, work my way to the lighter colors. That's just a method I use for almost any time I have 3 or more pencils. So we're going to pull the pumpkin orange. One thing I wanted to recommend is this will be probably a part 1, 2, and 3, usually each one around 2 hours. Whenever, if you stop your coloring somewhere in the middle of a video to come back to the next day, make sure you make a note of the time stamp so you know to go back to that spot, or you can just forward until you see where you remember I last left off. All right, so I have pumpkin orange. I am going to try to put down the colors I'm currently on. I'm on pumpkin orange right now. Sometimes I forget to make a color card, but most of the time I have most of them. So for this pumpkin, I'm going to kind of color over the section divider lines. You see how I'm doing this? This is where I like to start for these bigger ones. And until it fans out a little bit around it. And I try to sharpen all the pencils I'm going to use ahead of time for each section. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to be blended in. You see some tutorials on YouTube how to do a pumpkin where there's like 8, 12 colors. It's just not necessary. Not only is it not worth pulling that many colors for one pumpkin, I can't give you that many colors for one item, and this swatch would be like 5 pages, and it's just so time consuming when we have a lot of items on a page to do. And that's, I mean, I certainly can do that, but that's definitely a way far advanced level. And I want my tutorials to apply to all levels. Man, I did not sleep well last night. So I'm now gonna outline this final line. I go right on the inside of it all the way down in kind of a soft pattern. Follow the curve of the pumpkin. Just imagine there's another line there, but we're doing it right on the inside of it. So it's kind of soft, medium pressure I'm using. We can do this one over here, the same thing. And you make it where it goes in just a little bit into the whites area, maybe, you know, 1/8 of an inch or whatever. So then I'm going to, excuse me, at the top of each section, I'm going to kind of color in just like a 1/4 of an inch in a kind of a soft pattern. It'll start getting a little flat on the end of your pencil, which is good because it makes for a softer, even blending than if you were to use a point, which is better. So I'm just going to softly keep the flat area pressed down without lifting it up. Just go over this area and bring it down a little. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. We're going to go upward, you know, 1/4 an inch, 1/2 an inch, whatever. Don't have a ruler. I'm just going to go by feel. And blend it into that side where you started. And this one I'll just keep it under the leaf. Well, I better go above the leaf a little because this side is a little longer. So one trick is to lighten the pressure you're using as you get to where you're going to stop. So the next color can blend in with a nice transition. So I'm lightening my pressure so it looks kind of like it's fading out a little. Okay, I'm going to bring this down a teeny bit more. And we're going to maybe build a few layers. Just bringing it down a teeny bit more, and I'm lightening it a little. All right. And then bring this in just a little bit, lighten it up a little toward, so you're about 1/3 maybe of the way into the white space of this strip right here. Same thing here. And then I'm going to go to each of these divider lines, follow it on the right side, just a little bit, bring it inward. So just kind of color up along next to it, very kind of soft. So you're kind of bringing that color in to the white area, but lighter than you did when you outlined it. Okay. So you see we're just kind of getting there with some shading. That's really all we need so far right now with this pumpkin orange. Next we can go to the mineral orange. The mineral orange. Mineral orange. Okay. And that is, I don't have a card for this one, so mineral orange is here. And so what we're going to do here, concept is we're going to leave room for a little bit of the lightest color, the yellowed orange, and a little bit of white. So I'm just going to kind of start closing the area in. So first I'm going to overlap the color we just finished with this mineral orange. I'm going to overlap it because we're kind of blending, you know, and I'm doing a little lighter. I'm not necessarily going all the way to the black line. And I'm going to kind of close it in a little. So blend over the previous color, like on each side, but then a teeny bit into its own white space. So you're just slowly stretching that out, and you lighten it up as you get closer to the middle. So it almost leaves this white chunk here. So for this one, I want to kind of go over and bring this to this up to the eye. Okay, and then do this side. We'll go over it. And let's go along the mouth here. And this second one, we're going to kind of color over this bottom color, bring it up a little, but mostly bring it in on the side. Bring it in on the side, a little like that. Okay, this one, let's bring it all the way down to the mouth. Color over the top, color down. We're going to do this one here. All right, and we're going to go do a blend over this and then come down the side, bring it in just a little, just on the far right. I'm not going to do anything on this one here, maybe just right at the line a little bit. I want to leave a good amount of that white right there, okay? That's all we really need for that for now. Now we're going to do the yellowed orange. The yellowed orange. All right. The yellowed orange. And we're also going to need the white, which I did not write on that palette. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start blending in this one gently to the colors that are already there, only about halfway along each side. We're going to slowly close in this white space, but we're going to leave like a strip of white. That's almost going to look like a shiny area or like a highlight. So let's get a little, we're going to retouch some shadows on the bottom. So we're just going to focus on putting this color down the middle, coloring along the outline here. So we're kind of coloring over the other two colors to touch that color down. Now you're going to see a lot of this little white tooth. It looks like white fluff. That's because there's still tooth that isn't filled, and we don't need to worry about that because the Prismacolor blender will take care of that. So that's why I'm using a lighter pressure. If we weren't using a blender, we'd have to use a harder pressure as we got toward the final colors. So you see how I have a white area that's following the curve of the pumpkin? That's going to be kind of like a highlight area. So we can slowly narrow it in a little more. Okay, now just kind of, and then just kind of leave it. I'm going to go to the one in the middle, because it's smaller. We're going to go over this other area, a little bit blend up here to the other two colors. I'm going to close this in between the nose and the mouth. And kind of close this in on the right side, bring it in. Just going to leave a little bit of a white on this one. Okay, let's blend in here and try to make this, imagine this was going to curve, and then so we'd kind of probably be like this. You'd leave it white, like right like there. But I don't go all the way down, just a little bit of highlight. Okay. So it kind of just goes a little bit and curves, and then it kind of stops. Okay, now let's go over to this one. I'm going to go over these two colors here around the eye on each side, and then bring this in. Bring this in. So it's again going like this and then like this, like it bends, like a bend in a road. Okay. So each one will have a little bit of a white. This one's these two are a little more narrow, so I'm going to bring in this just a teeny bit so it's on par. Good. Let's go to the far right. I'm going to blend some of the yellowed orange over the other two areas. Then come on down. Blend into that other. Let's go to the bottom, blend over it. Just a medium to light pressure, not too hard. This one we're going to close it in so the highlight is kind of more toward this. Put a little bit right here, but it's just a little strip, and it's going to be closer to this line. Okay. Then this one, we're going to color everything in up here. Just add so now we have 3 colors total overlapping on the top and bottom. It makes for a nice natural look. Let's get this bottom area. Then we're going to close it in here. Just bring it in around from the mouth. Bring it in a little from this side. Okay. So basically what that leaves us, if you can, I imagine you can see this well, is a white section on each section of the pumpkin that kind of curves along the line of the pumpkin where we've boxed in the colors and stopping where it gets almost to the white. And so that is when we thus now put in our white and white. So I need to sharpen mine. You don't need a super sharp point or anything, just don't make it too tall. We're going to go ahead and add this right in the center. Each one. It's going to give it a softer look when we blend over the edges of this. And then I'm going to go and do a little bit of into the light yellow next to it, so it kind of, that white kind of like spills out. It'll look better when we blend it that way. So I'm going to just go on each side of it a little. Just on the right side on this one. Someone's coming to my door. yeah, so it's going to make almost like a glowy kind of a look on each side. Okay, so before we blend, there's a process I've learned over the years. We kind of repeat what we did, but a little bit faster to retouch, put in a second layer. So we're going to put in like the pumpkin orange, for example. And we're going to darken it up at the top and bottom. Because once you blend out with the blender stick, it puts like a substance on it from the blending material. I don't know if it's like a chalky, whatever it uses that works. It's hard to put much color over it at that point because it's almost like a protective layer. You can do a little bit, but not much. So I'm gonna put another layer over those colors we blended along the top here. You can see, and then the bottom. And this is going to just create more shadow, and when it blends out, it'll look more natural. I'm going to go a little bit right at the side of each, where you have the pumpkin ends. For more shadowy look, right along here. And right along here. Okay. Just a little more here and there. I'm going to follow along this pumpkin lines in the center, go over it just a little. That's how we build up our shadows. You see how with just 3 colors, or 4 if you add white, you can do a pretty nice pumpkin. You don't need all those different colors that they try to show you in those really complicated advanced tutorials. I don't want to spend an hour on one object, you know. All right, so we've got that back in. Well, then we repeat the process. We're going to go to the mineral orange next and blend at the end of where we just stopped that second layer of the pumpkin orange, just down a little. This just is going to give us another layer for a good blending effect. A little bit on the inside of this line we added. You have to push a little harder once you've got other color down. Not super hard, but just like you're layering it out. I'm going to put a little here along the pumpkin line, kind of a little bit on the inside of each area where we did that. I'm going to go over here and follow the line, but go just inward a little bit. We're basically kind of going over the areas we previously did with each color. Just adding a little more. See how the pumpkin's becoming more deep and rich, like with its 2-dimension. Kind of pops out a little more, not as flat looking. We'll do a little bit here at the bottom. Okay, super easy. And then lastly, one more time with the yellowed orange. Don't go into that white, but we did put some white over that orange where we overlapped it, so you can put a little orange back over that. You can run this yellow orange over everything, right up next to that white area. This color put back in here. So yeah, we're just adding that back in. We're about ready to blend. When it looks like you're done, but you can still see some white tooth, that's when you know you're ready to blend. You have enough layers. A little bit more white touch in there, each section real quick, just to catch a little overlap of the new layer you put in there. Okay, so we're ready to blend our little guy. You're gonna take your Prismacolor blender. I have a little black and green on here because I was doing another picture yesterday. So I'm going to pick that off with my nail. You don't want to rub an old color into your new color and have light green or black streaks. Unless, of course, you're doing another dark color, then it won't matter. I do a little sharpen, which helps get some off. You actually do want this flat where you can touch it, it doesn't poke you. If it's flat, it's going to blend even and better. So if you can do this and it doesn't hurt, then you know you're about right. Always blend the white areas first. Because then it'll lay down some of this stuff, whatever this is made of, that kind of, see, I had a tad drop of black right there. It just got on my pumpkin. Blend over that. Whatever layer it puts on, it kind of sets it in place. So you want to do this before you start blending all the oranges. And then you could even, you'll have orange on your pencil then, you know, but then you could even touch back over the white to kind of blend them together and it'll still stay white. So go over it and maybe a little bit on each side. Okay, so then I'm going to just start blending the top. Of each section. This does take some elbow grease. You're going to have to push a little bit hard. You got to hold your paper down. My camera will shake because my table always shakes when I do this. So you'll see it starts to look smooth and blended and comes together. Almost like a matte look. It's really nice. We're going to go down the line here all the way up to the edge of the white. I just kind of go down and go left, right, and bring it all together as I go down. I'm going to go over and then go back up. Around our highlighted area, we're going to just do the bottom here. Good, so this is looking nice. If you see anything that looks a little clunky, just run over it so it looks nice and smooth. Let's do this side. Running back over the black line where we made a little darker so we can see that shadow pop out, and then running into this third one now. Around the nose, the cutouts. So you are kind of blending that lighter and the darker colors together. You need your crumb brush every 2 minutes or so, a minute or two to brush stuff off. Let's get to this bottom here. Get to the bottom on this one. Try not to catch too much of the ink lines from Teresa Goodridge's illustrations, because sometimes if you push too hard, it can pick up some of that black ink from the printing. Like I just caught that on that dark leaf right there. I try as much as I can to go around that. It doesn't seem to be doing it in the center. This line is pretty thin, what we have dividing the pumpkin, because I've gone over that, but I did do it on that leaf because it was a thicker, bolder line. Just a little bit. Okay. Let's get on the right side. If you see any white specks, it's the tooth of the paper. Just push this in as you go back and examine every area. This presses the pigment hard into the remaining tooth of the paper and kind of smashes it down and closes it, like closing up your pores. So you can't see it anymore. And it's all filled in with color and kind of smush down. If you didn't have this blender, you would have to take your lightest color, like that yellowed orange, and burnish hard, hard, hard to function as the blender, or even your white, which would look a lot paler. But that pushes down your pencil really fast. Your pencils don't last as long. That's one reason I don't do too heavy on my pigment. And then I use the blender in most of my pictures because it makes the pencils last longer. Unless it's a really small area, then yeah, I'll use a light color to be the blender. But all right. So I'm looking at this. Everything looks good. I caught a little bit of that thick black ink line coming down right there, but you kind of blend over it. Yeah, and so you see it almost looks like a little glow. That's why we put a little bit of that yellow around each side of that white strip, and then put the white a little bit over it, because when you blend it out, it looks like the white kind of is, it's kind of glowing around that highlight or whatever. So now if you were to take the white and try to, I mean, you can touch in a little, but it's kind of like almost waxy of a feel, like you can't get much down. It'll take a little bit, but you want to retouch up your white. Yeah, so that's it for this little guy here. I'm gonna pick two colors that it's gonna be best for the inside of the cutouts. We'll come back to that. We're gonna work on this one on the left, and this one will be green over here. This one I want to do kind of a white and orange. I forgot to write that in, so we'll come back to that. And I have the color for the pumpkin stalks. The pumpkin stalks is going to be light umber and sandbar brown. In fact, I have those two right here. So let's go ahead and do all the pumpkin stalks at once. And the light umber, let's see, light umber tends to be a little darker. Sandbar brown almost has a touch of like an olive in it. Oh, I'm torn. We're going to start with the sandbar brown, I think is the best. We'll do all the stalks. So what I'm going to do, see how in this stalk, it's got this swirly kind of pencil ink in the center of it. That's what area I'm going to follow. I'm going to follow this with the sandbar brown. And I'm going to kind of push hard, use a pressure with it. I'm just going to do this along the inside here of the stalk. Kind of goes over those little pencil marks. And then leave all that white will fill in the outer color. Real easy. Let's go over here. I'm just going to kind of do along the side, along the each side maybe, and we'll fill in the lighter color kind of in the middle. This little one too, let's just kind of do it at an angle. And we got like a curve, and then this one here on the left side, we'll do it mostly just down the left side. I have the colors right here for this. I thought it was a broom. I thought it was like just like some hay bound together, but then I saw this thing here and it doesn't look like a broom handle, but I guess it's, I think that's part of a broom. So I didn't put colors in for that because originally I thought this was hay that was bound together. So anyway, just talking. I'll go back and fix that. Let's do the light umber now. Let's go in here and just put this color into that white space. And blend a little bit over the other color. Doing it lighter in the center. In this case, wise, we don't really need the blender because it's a small area. If you just do medium to light pressure in the center, but keep going over it, you should be able to get all that tooth taken care of. I think I will go back and touch up with the sandbar for little shadows. Let's fill in right here. This cute little pumpkin. So just kind of keep squiggling this in until you feel like you don't see much white. All right, let's get this one here. And over here, straight down the right side. Go over it enough times, a little bit of pressure, not much, but a little. Put the layer in, and you should be able to get that mostly covered. So then we're just going to take the sandbar. We need to put a little bit of shadows back in here. I'm going to do like this one here. Just kind of put it in a little at the base and over where we originally put it on the side. Just kind of put it over and push really hard. It'll feel a little waxy. Let's do that right here. We're pushing pretty hard. Just kind of around the edges where we were before. Down the left side on this one, straight down. Over here, let's do that looks great. If you have to touch up just a teeny bit with that light umber in the center once you put that dark shadow back in, feel free. You keep it simple. There, looks nice. Yep, so the sandbar is a good, just double up on your shadows a little bit. All right. That is done. I would like to do this. Let's do the straw bundle because I have those here and we were just talking about it, which I guess is a broom. I'm not sure, but anyway, I have here ginger root, peach beige, and I thought it was burnt ochre. Why do I have burnt ochre? It's goldenrod. All right, my bad. So it's goldenrod. Let's do the straw bundle. Okay, I had to grab more colors, but we're gonna move in to that. Peach beige, ginger root, and goldenrod. We'll start with the goldenrod, which is gonna be kind of like a little bit of dark yellowy undertone. So for this straw bundle, I'm just gonna kind of like where it wraps, I'm gonna just put in a little bit here at the base above it, just right around where the tie is, darker right there. A little bit here in the center, just half of this area. Then a little bit here coming out from under that wrap. I'm going to go straight across. Okay. And then I'm going to like lightly stripe it down because I want it to look wispy like a broom. So I'm going to stripe it, follow the lines, kind of follow the lines of the broom. See that? Stripe it a little bit on these few up here. Stripe down, up, up. Okay, real easy. Then let's do the ginger root. That one's a little bit more strawish color. And then I'm going to kind of color where that goldenrod left off upward, blend into it, solid, just about like till we're like now halfway. Then I'm going to stripe, stripe, stripe each one. Same thing, we're going to blend down from where we left off that goldenrod, solid. Okay, kind of blending into it, softening up that gold color. Then we're going to start striping it down or up. You can go from the bottom up. You can go down, whichever. Still leaving some white you can see for the next color. We're going to fill in here between the two bands. Okay. Now the peach beige. Let's fill in the rest lightly, going up into that white where the ginger root left off. Then we're going to go down. And I'm striping upward just to kind of fill in the rest of this. You got to go around the base, make sure you get all the color, the points. Just kind of go up. All right, so that goldenrod you can see around the center, a little bit above and below that wrap, kind of gives a little shadow to it. It doesn't look as gold as it does on the pencil. So then, real quick, go back to your goldenrod. We're going to put in a little more above the tie, in the center, just on the top, and coming down. So you deepen up kind of that shadowy look. And then just stripe in a little more gold, just in a few spots over everything. This can also be done with a lighter, like a light brown color, but I like the goldenrod. Okay, you could do the ginger root again, put in a little more color coming up from that goldenrod, coming down from that goldenrod. So we're deepening our layers, and then striping things some more. All right, lastly, final touch of the peach beige again. We're probably not going to need the blender on this one because we want the colors to not blend that well, because we want to show the definition between that goldenrod and these others kind of standing out. Just want to make sure you got every blade covered and there's nothing white left. I'm just striping it in, tapping it. Good. And then for that little tie area, I'm going to take the goldenrod and I'm just going to do a straight up goldenrod color in the center to tie it instead of brown. I don't like a whole lot of brown in my autumn pictures, but you can always do the light umber if you prefer. So this is almost like a gold leather cowhide strip or something. And then just go up a little, tap a little more in, coming up from that, a little more going down. I can still see new stripes being added. It's still taking a little color. There, that's really all we need for our little broom. I want to pull some different browns for that handle, so that looks quite a bit different than the pumpkin stalks, and I need to go look at my pencils to do that, so we'll come back to that. For now, we're done with these 3 colors. Okay, we don't need the blender. What I would like to do would be to do this little pumpkin-y guy. This would be the big pumpkin on the left. So I got pale vermilion, orange, burnt ochre, and cadmium orange hue. All right, so we have, oh, that's mineral orange. It's not the one I need. Pumpkin, okay. Cadmium orange hue. Oh, here they are. Those are the colors I just used. All right, yep, so we got pale vermilion, orange, cadmium orange hue, and the burnt ochre. I knew I had that out for a reason. I put it back. Burnt ochre. Okay, got all these colors. So when we do this guy, we can see by looking at the swatch, I didn't put in pale vermilion to my swatch, so I wrote it in, but I didn't do the color, so let's do that. Now, the benefit is you can see the colors, and you can kind of see what order to put them in. The darkest you can see is the burnt ochre, the next darkest is the cadmium, followed by the pale vermilion, the lightest would be the orange. So we'll start with the burnt ochre, or ochre, whatever. All right, same thing we're gonna do here, we did here. This one has a little leaf here, but I'm going to just start going over the lines in the center. And if you can learn this method, you can do this for any pumpkins that you have 3 to 4 colors. We have 4 for this one. I don't like all my pumpkins to be the exact same shades because it wouldn't look natural, because they all look different. Following the lines. Let's do over here, I have to go around the leaf. I think, oh yeah, there's a little more space on that side. Okay, so at the top, we're gonna teeny bit bring it down, a little less than before because we have more colors now. Just around the top, like creating a nice dark shadow. Then the bottom, same thing. Put it in lightly. And then I'm going to go follow a little bit in on the left of each one, bringing it in just a little. Okay, a little bit right here. That's all you really need because we do have 4 colors, so let's start out light. The next color would be the cadmium orange hue. And in that case, we'll be coloring over where we just did and bringing it inward a little. I'm going to kind of move the colors a little left to right. Let's see. So yeah, so I'm going to color into this one on the left, color over it, and then in just a teeny bit. A little bit here. I'm going to color in all the way, a little bit down, just a little. I'm going to go over this area on the top we did. Go over the area on the top all the way across. Then I'm going to kind of follow this line down. my Apple Watch died. I'm going to follow this down. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 11:12 a.m.
All right, so we're going to follow the line of this down. I have to go do something here soon. I'm just going to kind of go over the line, let it so it kind of spreads a little on each side. There, you can see it's, you know, I kind of went over each line, and I kind of is filling it in. Okay, next would be the regular, well, yeah, the pale vermilion would be next. I actually didn't write the white down. So I'm going to go tap, there's this little area in this far corner. I'm going to get solid pale vermilion. I'm going to blend just around this leaf a little, and I'm going to blend over this little bit of right here. But I'm leaving a little white area right there. Okay, I'm going to bring this in, color down, blend over it, bring it in a little. Blend over this area on the bottom, over this line, kind of cover everything on the bottom, bring it in a little by the eye. This one I'm going to want to start straightening it, so I want to kind of go straight down how it hits the straw. Okay, let's go over everything up here, just light, and then bring this, close it in a little, go across the bottom, bring it a little more toward the center. Gonna do all the top here. Down. Kind of coloring a little on each side. Okay. And let's do the orange. We do need to leave a little room for our white. We can do a little less on the other side. The pumpkin is smaller, so you see this one already is looking more, this one has more of a yellow tint to the whole thing. This one's looking more of a darker orange, darker to medium orange. All right, let's blend in this orange over the top lightly, and we're gonna bring in here just a little. We're gonna leave a little bit of white. We're gonna close it in. There's just a little bit of white right there. Touch it a little bit over here, so we're blending a little bit of white right there. Okay, let's color over everything here. Bring it down. Let's go upward. Good, so we're leaving a little white stripe that's going to come kind of from under the eye, overlapping the mouth, but it's going to be pretty thin. There we go, just a little bit right here. Touch over a little bit everything here. Okay, same thing here. Let's bring this in just a little, bring it in a little so it's matching kind of the width of this white area. Close it in. There we go. Leaving a little light white stripe, some orange around it. Coloring that in. This one here, we're going to kind of put them as orange on the top. I'm just going to bring color down the center and close it in a little on each side. A teeny bit of white here and here, just a little. Okay. Good, now we just have to put a little more shadows in, so we'll have to go back to the burnt ochre. Actually, before we do that, we need to put in the white. Thank you for myself reminding me in my brain. Add in your white, because we want to be able to overlap the second round. It's okay to overlap it a little bit into the area around it. Just a little. All right. Okay, now we're going to add in colors at the top. Just going back over the very bottom so it looks a little more brown. See there? Just around a few little areas right next to the line, maybe over the line. Just get a little of that dark. Okay. Let's put in a little bit of that cadmium. There you are. Cadmium, where are you? Why did I, oh, there you are. Okay. A little bit will blend where that darker one just ended. Follow the left of each side. Maybe where it overlaps a little, just a little around the line on each side. Put a little in the bottom here. Down the middle. Okay, it's just a little tad more in. We'll tap in a little bit of the pale vermilion again. More closer to the white area. Just this one is a little more of a bright pop. You can see. Just put it in a few random little places. It doesn't have to be exact, but not over the white, obviously. We're going to be blending all these lovely colors. The orange, lastly. I'm going to go with the orange right up almost to the white and around it for that final layer. So then tap in your white again. Let it overlap just a little into the orange we just put in around it. So we can give it a nice little glow effect. Excellent. So then we just need our little fancy little blender. It's pick it off because you want to do the white first. You don't want really much orange on there. Okay, do the white areas first. And then maybe to the side of it a little where it overlaps. We overlapped into the orange. Once that's done, you can start blending everything else. I'm going to start at the bottom here. Go. Okay. And then you can kind of go over that white, blend a little bit on each side so some of that orange might overlap. So it looks like a softer transition. Blend that into the white a little to get that glowy effect. Cute little guys. I am satisfied with these little pumpkins. Just check anywhere you see any white tooth or you need a little smooth out. Okay, good. Well, we're done with that one. We can move on to our little green pumpkin and these leaves. And then we'll do this pumpkin. I'm gonna have to pause. I wanted to do something different. So I need to write that into the palette. I want to pick a color. Did I pick a color for the pumpkin leaves? Pumpkin, pumpkin. I did not. So I'm gonna, well, I do it for the grass though. I'm gonna get my color I want for the pumpkin leaves and for the inside of the pumpkin. And then we'll do the grass. We'll finish up this bottom section. That's what we're gonna do in this particular session. And then I'm gonna move on to maybe the moon, some simple things, some bats, little details, and we're gonna kind of work our way to the center there. All right. All right. So I was able to add more colors to the swatch. I chose colors for the leaves, for the pumpkin leaves, which I want to go ahead and do first. I have Prussian green, olive green, and lime peel. I also added the colors for the inside glow of the pumpkins, their faces. And we're going to do deco yellow, canary yellow, orange, light umber, cream, and white. May not need the white. I don't know. We might not need all of those, but I'm going to try to create kind of an inside glow look instead of a raw pumpkin look. Easier said than done. We'll try. I also chose the colors for this other pumpkin. I want to do kind of an alternative color. If you look up, have you ever seen those black pumpkins? They're kind of a blackish gray purple color. They're called midnight pumpkins or something like that. And I've been looking at pictures and I was working at trying to come up with a color swatch that would replicate it. It's almost impossible. But since we're gonna have a lot of purple and blacks up here, I like to put a little of the colors that are on one part of the page down below. So that pumpkin is gonna be a nice accent to what's up here. So it'll be, maybe an alternative or kind of the loner pumpkin. But we're gonna do black, Dioxane, purple hue, lilac, grade lavender. And I have 70% French gray and 30% French gray. I tested some color combos. I've never done a pumpkin in it, so we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty good at usually about getting color palettes together, but I intentionally try to weave my colors throughout. So I want to go ahead and do these pumpkin leaves. And so for the pumpkin leaves, the Prussian green is going to be the border, like where you kind of outline the leaves. Like this one actually has an actual squiggle outline. The olive and the lime peel will kind of be blended for the inside. So let's start with the Prussian green. And the Prussian green wouldn't really even go well. Olive is actually a little darker, but olive doesn't blend well with, or Prussian green has more blue tint in it, so it wouldn't blend well with like olive or lime peel. So that's why I did that. All right, so let's go ahead and do this Prussian. So we'll outline with the Prussian green the border on the leaves. Okay. And then on this one, well, there's no actual line, but we'll put in our own outline. We'll just do the border of the inside of the leaf, kind of like this. Put in our own little impression shading. I'm gonna also put it in the leaf vein as well. Just kind of outlining the inside. Same here, let's put this into that little vein area in the middle. Same with this one over here, just a teeny little bit in the corners. All right, up here. Into that vein. Real simple. I think that's, oh, we forgot one here, silly me. Poor little leaf is gonna get neglected. We need a pretty sharp pencil. I'm using a real hard pressure so we can get a nice dark border here. Okay. And this one too. I'm gonna put in a little bit. When I brought a little bit more to the center, we can overlap it. Let's just bring it in just a little. It's not really a good blend with the olive, but I think it'll be fine because we're using the blender stick. Okay. That's it. There's no pumpkin leaf on this one. Oh goodness, I forgot this little pumpkin guy up here. Let's just do this one. I forgot to mention, I didn't decide what color I want this pumpkin yet because I want to see how he, you know, I've swatched out his outfit, his hat, his hair color, and all that jazz. I want to see how everything looks before I decide what color pumpkin is going to look the best against that. So sometimes I can't swatch every little thing. I need to see how the colors are coming together from what I have planned to decide, just to get a good visual on it. That's the only other pumpkin. Okay. So let's move on to the next color. Okay, I keep getting interrupted, but we're gonna move to the olive green. The olive green. And with the olive green, I'll put that here. We're going to blend kind of around the sides of the inside of the leaf. And just leave a little space kind of in the middle or here or there for that lime peel. We're going to kind of blend that in. So mine isn't overly sharp. It's kind of dull at the end, which works well for blending. Okay. All right. I'm just kind of blending that and leaving some white areas in the middle. We're blending it into that Prussian green. I think it's fine. It's not the greatest blend, but it can't really tell because I'm putting in that olive a little heavier than I intended. Okay, let's get over here. Okay, next is the lime peel. We're going to color in the rest of that remaining white space. I think it's good. And kind of in the middle. It almost gives it like a yellowy tint. Kind of like a lime, I guess. Like a citrus color between the two when you blend them. Let's get over here. Get in the middle. Over here. Oh, I have to set a reminder. Alexa, set alarm for 4:30 p.m.
Alarm set for 4:30
I
p.m.
keep forgetting to, I have some pages that I sprayed a fixative on outside. Needs about an hour, and I don't want to forget them, leave them out there all night. I did that once before. Then it got moist outside because it got misty. But now it's sunny today, but you never know because of where we live. It changes quickly and dramatically. Did I not put only, I think I put a little olive up here, just a little. Putting that lime peel in this leaf up here. Great. And I think this one has enough rich color in it that we don't need to do a second layer. I'm just going to dab in a little more lime. I am going to use the blender stick for the center parts because that gives it a little bit of a better look. So get your, why is my blender missing? Prismacolor blender, where are you? I guess I'm sharpening a new one. I just had it. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna sharpen a brand new one. Got a brand new one. Let's get on in here in the middle. Blending each little one here, just blending all these colors together. It's such a nice color combination overall, I think, now that I can really see this, and the way we layer in the colors, it doesn't really need a second coat or any particular blending style because all the colors, when they overlap, make a nice natural look. Oh, those look really nice. Okay. all we really need to do for those little guys. All right, so that's done. Next, we will, where are my other pencils? Okay, so next, I think I want to work on this little green pumpkin over here. And for that one, we have Jade and Sap Green Light and White. Okay, so we have these three colors. So the darker of these two is the Jade. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of try to follow the veins with this darker Jade first. I wish this would lay flat. It doesn't really lay flat with the perforated edge. I'm going to hold it down. So I'm just going to kind of, this has that kind of Cinderella blue pumpkin. You know how you get those blue Cinderella pumpkins? Kind of a greenish grayish blue. These colors match perfectly, but I couldn't quite achieve that with the black pumpkin. So we're going to outline all these little veins and bring it in a little bit on each side, lightening it up, bring a little bit in. Okay. So next we're going to switch to that Sap Green Light. I don't even know if we're going to need the white, but we'll see. I'm going to blend halfway over that and down. I might leave a teeny little glow of white, right, a little strip of white right next to the black line. It's really, they don't give us much room to get in three colors. I'm just going to do all of the center, two little ones right here. And this one I'll do like, I'll leave a little white coming in just right there, just a teeny bit of white. This one I'm going to bring between the broom. I think this pumpkin goes all the way down to here, I think. That's grass, so it goes right into here. Put a little white there. We'll bring this in just a little white, a few white spots, nothing major. And then take your white and get into those white spots. And you want to even get a little bit of that green with it, so it'll be nice, soft, blend, nice look when it's done. Put in that white there. I could have done this on the bigger pumpkin and done the black one, black purple one over here in case it was a failed experiment. All right, I'm going to take my Prismacolor blender. I'm going to blend this out. That's perfect. All those green pumpkins. I'll take that jade green again. I'll try to just tap in a little bit of shadow right there, but can't get much over the blender. Just a little next to each little line here. And then I'll tap that white in one last time over what we did, kind of at least right here. You can maybe see, can't see a lot, but you can get a teeny bit in there. I think that's good. We can put a little bit of acrylic white pen on there and these little white, if you want to put a little bit of white spots in there or like a little bit more highlight. We'll have to go back to that later. But I do think that looks good. Considering it's little. All right. So I'm afraid to try the other pumpkin. It's very rare I experiment with something brand new on camera, but that is how we all learn, even people that are years ahead and years ahead of those people, even years ahead of them. So we're just going to go for it. Let's do the black. We're going to need the black, the Dioxane, the 70% French gray, lilac, 30% French gray, and grayed lavender. So with a nice sharp black, I'm going to shade very thin, along the inside veins of this pumpkin here. We might not use all the colors, but we'll see. I think it'll look good. It'll look like this is the possessed pumpkin that they're, apparently those blackish blue purple pumpkins are representative of magic, darker magic or whatever, with witches or something. So I guess this one got a spell put on it. Let's go and do this one, but I want it to be this outside line we're going to trace. So we're going to follow the curve the opposite direction. So it's this way. And we'll go this way. Then we're going to trace each little line. And then I'm going to bring down the black just a little around the whole front, like under the stem, all the way over the whole top here. And then I'm going to follow this along the very bottom, just a teeny fraction of like an 1/8 inch on the bottom here. And we're going to bring this in just a little, but I'm going to do it very softer than I did, a little lighter and softer. Okay, so far not terrible. Let's do the Dioxane purple hue. And I'm going to, since it's very sharp, I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to kind of blend over this black gently and bring it inward a little. It's going to make a black, like a bluish purple color, which is good. What we want, go over this black at the top. So you can follow each one, like the little line all the way. So we're just growing out how far this black goes. Let's put a little at the top. And then we're going to go all the way down. All right. All right, so we are blending in I had to pause that Dioxane. We're going to go up. We're going to go along the whole bottom and just up just a little. So what I get for trying to do these on a weekend when everyone's here, they keep knocking on my door. I need a sign that says, "Filming, don't knock." Funny, they only knock when they want me to do something. Can you cook? Can you find this? Can you do this? Figure it out yourself. Everyone is an adult in this house. All right. So I'm kind of closing and boxing it in. You can see how I'm doing that? I like how it looks so far. It's the rest of the color palette that gave me an issue. I pulled out a lot of ones that didn't work, and I narrowed down to the ones I think are going to be the best. So let's do the 70% French gray. I'm kind of closing these areas in, so I'm going to blend this into the top, a little bit into the side, and bring it in on the left of each side. So I'm going to kind of be going left to right as I fill these in. This one already had a little purple and this big one in the middle, so I'm going to bring this one toward the center as well. So the left ones go in, the right ones go in this way, because we're kind of following the outline of the pumpkin curve. So we're going to put it in lightly right here. Okay, good. We might have to go back to this color. So now is when we put in our lilac. And we're gonna gently blend over that gray we just did and a little bit into the white area. Leave room to put in this lighter gray. I really like actually how this is turning out so far. I figured this was the best option. We'll see. We're gonna blend over here. And if it looks good, we just discovered a great new Halloween pumpkin color. Blending in, closing this in. I'm doing it along the bottom. And then the gray is going to go over this lilac so it won't be too evidently purple. And let's go in here. Let's go. I think I want to put in next. Oh, we're only going to put in a teeny tiny bit of the 30% French gray. Just a little bit in. I'm still going to leave a little bit of that white to go over with the gray lavender. So I'm mostly going to put this over in the area that has a little more white space left. A little bit over that lilac and into that white space. On these two, very light overlapping, kind of just dusting in the color. Leave a little highlights here left for that gray lavender. Just getting that on in here. Good. Okay. Lastly, I have the grayed lavender. So this one, we're gonna very gently put in the white area. It's still gonna look like it's a little white, but like a purpley white. This is like a very light dusting color. So we can still keep it lighter in those spots. Very light in the middle. You can overlap it and put a little bit of that elsewhere just to kind of spread around that grayish lavender. We'll get into this white area here. Looks great. I think I am going to touch it with the white. I'm going to just put a little of this gray lavender over everything, kind of. When we blend it, it'll look nice. Okay, so now we're going to use our white. Make sure there's no green on it. Put that right over the white, or I'm sorry, right over that gray lavender where it's lightest, maybe. Whatever that little areas that were left. I think it's okay to overlap it a little with some of those other colors. Then I want to take the black again. I just want to put in a little more right on the edges to darken it up, maybe right over in the top, around the stem. A little bit at the top here. Then bring this down, darken it up a little just right around the side. Okay, right at the side there, around the top. And I'm going to touch in a little bit more of that dioxane again, right at the edges as well, close to the black. And again, a little bit on the top. We'll do a little bit, follow a little bit the curve of each little line. Go around the edge here, blend into that black. Follow the curve of this line. Just want it to be a little darker, purpley on the top, and then a little bit more on the bottom here. Just layering in that color. Okay. Now we'll do a little more of that French gray. We're not going to necessarily do them all, but we'll do the 70% French gray. A little bit over that dioxane, moving a little bit more inward. This kind of helps blend things. It's a nice, these French grays are the most neutral grays and they're really nice. That's good. I just put in a teeny bit and then I want to put in some lilac. Right next to where that white goes and kind of over everything. So we get that grayish, purplish, black color. Might touch in a teeny bit more of the grayed lavender everywhere. This is the grayed lavender I'm touching in. Maybe we're going to touch in a little bit of the 30% French gray, just everywhere but the white. Yep, and we're ready to blend our pumpkin. Okay. So we're going to start in these lighter areas first. Then let's just start blending it all, starting on more in the dark area and working a little bit down. And then a little bit into the grays, where we kind of started to close it in. We're going to get along the bottom here. Just going to follow the line. There we go. Looking good, and it's going to be a nice pop to all the purples up here. I think we did pretty well. It took me like an hour to come up with this color combination of testing just different palettes on a paper to get kind of that grayish, purplish, blackish pumpkin that they call those black diamond pumpkins. And then I'm going to tap in just a teeny bit of the, well, first I want to make sure I don't have any tooth left on this pumpkin. I'm gonna blend a little bit over everything, but gonna tap in right over. With the gray lavender. It's not going to take a lot, but you can get a little in there. Yeah, I think it looks good. It's our little special black sheep pumpkin that must have a little spell on it. That's really cute. Okay, we are done with all those colors. So now we can move on to these leaves down here. For that we have Scarlet Lake, Poppy Red, Pale Vermillion, and we wanted, you know, autumn colored leaves. Trying to probably go a little heavier on the reds because we don't have a lot of reds in here. Scarlet Lake, Vermillion, Poppy Red, okay? So then for that, I would we're going to focus on these leaves down here. We'll start with the Scarlet Lake being the darkest one. And for this one, I'm going to put them in kind of in a nonsensical pattern. So they're kind of woven. So I'm going to just kind of put some up in the upper left corner. Maybe the lower right. Let's just do this on all of them. Upper left, lower right. Just the, then I'm going to maybe just put a little bit in the middle, just a little zigzags. Because we're doing leaves that they're speckled, right? They're not solid. We're just gonna dust a little here and here. Okay, let's get over here. Okay, so we're going to put in the first layer lightly and then darken up as needed. I don't see any more leaves, so then let's move to the poppy red. Oh, well, apparently I only have a card for 922 Scarlet Lake. And I have Scarlet. Okay. All right. I was just fixing up my card for the next one. All right, poppy red. So for this one, we're just gonna put in a little here and there, maybe overlap a little, just kind of squiggle in where there's a few white areas, speckle it, make it a little darker. You can go a little bit overlap the other areas, or a little here and there. Just put in some of my own little areas. Okay, next let's put in the pale vermilion. I'm just gonna get in a little bit of that. I might actually touch in a teeny bit of a yellow, or go in with a really dark magenta. Maybe we don't need the yellow. I might add one color, so I'm still leaving a little bit of white here and there. These colors are pretty close together. So I'm gonna actually add to this palette a teeny tiny bit of, where are you? Canary yellow. No, lemon yellow, sorry. Lemon yellow. I don't have a card for it, but I do have the lemon yellow right here. I'll come on and add this. Actually, let's add it now. So that's 915 lemon yellow, 915 lemon yellow, largely because I forgot to add a yellow to the palette, or a darker red, so the colors look a little too close together. So just kind of weasel in some of this lemon yellow. Wherever you see some open white area, you can go over stuff and it'll change it a little orangey, but you'll definitely see that yellow tone, and it'll tie in nicely to the glow that we get on the pumpkins. There we go. And then I'm going to go in with the Scarlet Lake, which is a darker red. And before we blend, I'm going to put in some darker areas. So I'm going to put it in a little darker, almost like little squiggles, because we want the leaves to look like they're kind of speckled, you know, like an autumn leaf you'd find on the grass in the park. Just kind of speckling that in a little. I'm using a little more pressure so it's a little darker. You can definitely see more of it. Excellent. Might even touch in one last little tad of the pale vermilion just here or there before we start blending now. Okay, so now we will blend on out. Okay. Pick up any of that dark purple from the pumpkin before you start at the end of your blender stick. Don't want to turn it purple. Okay, I'm just going to start blending these leaves in little squiggles so it's kind of even, and they'll make kind of a multicolored pattern, you know, like a almost tie-dye looking. It'll look like a more autumn leaf mosaic. Excellent. Let's get over here. Blend it. Till you don't see any more of that white tooth and everything's covered. Also, the reason I didn't do it green is the grass is going to be green. You don't really want green on green or you wouldn't see it so well. That looks good. And one thing you can do once you think it's all done and blended to your satisfaction, you do kind of still see that speckled look, but you don't see any more paper tooth. You can take the yellow, get in a little more, or you can get like a crimson red or darker red, which I might do later, tap in a little red, or you can't get a lot in there, but let's see if we can put some of this scarlet in there now. You can almost get a little bit more of this red in here. Like, give it a little bit of a tint. You'll get a little color in there. You can't get a lot though. Okay. So that is our autumn leaves. That's the wrong blender. And we are going to probably end up putting some sparkle. I might put a little sparkle on this purple pumpkin so it looks like it's a magic pumpkin. That's, I wanted it to stand out. We might do that at the end when I go and do all my special details and stickles and whatnot. Okay, so what we have, I want to go ahead and do the grass. Then we're going to do the insides of the pumpkin. Then we're done with the bottom, I think, for the most part. We're going to, actually, do I have the two colors here? I think I wrote, Yes, for the broom handle. Didn't I write that down? Broom handle, grass, gnome, 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 moon, moon. I thought I wrote it down. The broom. Okay, well anyway, I have the colors for the broom handle. We can do that now. I have to write it on the palette. For the broom handle, I just add that on the fly. I don't think I have any cards for it. I have sepia and dark brown. Sepia is a little bit darker. Has a little bit of a tint of a blackish in it. So I wanted to do that for this broom handle. And I'm going to take the, oh yeah, I was wrong. I did have the cards for it, obviously. I'm going to take the sepia and I'm going to go upward along these squiggle lines on the broom handle. Try to make it a little darker here, all swirled in at the top. Okay. Got that in there. A little bit at the bottom here. Can do the dark brown. In the middle and lightly shade into that sepia. Excellent. And then I think I'm going to put in just a little bit of light umber, which I still had out from the stalks, into the center. I don't have a card for that one here, but that's just so it looks a little... I didn't, we're not using the blending stick. I just want to put this in more the center to fill in some of that paper tooth. Great. And you can take that sepia and darken it at the very top or along the side here really hard. Really hard because we didn't put in the blender stick, so you can do it pretty hard and get a little bit of that shadowy there, and then a little bit of the dark brown in there. And then you can actually see it look a little lighter now in the middle with that light umber. And then I think for this little twirly thing that comes out of the pumpkin, we should straight up put in dark brown. So I'm going to do that. Actually need to sharpen. You need pretty sharp. Actually, I think that's fine. You can use either color. I'm going to do the dark brown. I get it pretty sharp to get it in here. You get it too sharp and it snaps, that's fine, because it would be pushed down in a second anyway, and it's still sharp. Let's go like this. All right. Great. I think that's the only one that has that. Oh, there's a little one here. It's right there. with a dark brown right there just to create a little more shadow. It's bugging me. Sepia. A little more shadow right there. Okay. Looking good. I don't see... My goodness, I forgot this pumpkin stalk up here because I keep forgetting to do the pumpkin stalk. So I'm just going to do dark brown and light umber for this pumpkin stalk up here. We'll use the dark brown first. Just go up on this side. And lighten it up a little. Then I'll do the light umber. We did use the umber down at the bottom, but we also used sandbar, but I think I put that one away, so close enough. I do need to use the light umber again, so I'll keep that out. I'm going to take the sepia and darken just right around, right in here at the kind of shadowy area, the base of the pumpkin. That's good. All right, I think that's everything we need for our browns other than the light umber we're going to do in the pumpkins. Although actually, that's interesting. He doesn't have... Okay, just thinking for a minute. All right, well, let's continue. Okay. We're going to do the grass first. For the grass, we have grass green, apple green, and spring green. Grass green, apple green, and spring green. You want pretty sharp. Well, apparently I didn't go enough. Just so we can get a good sharpening with my pencils. Okay, so we will start with the grass green. It's the darkest. And for the grass, so you see like under this purple pumpkin, it's like all pokey, and then there's all the open white space. I like to do the darkest color in these pokey areas and just go in and down a little bit. So let me show you, for example. I like to do it pretty dark right in those little pokey areas. The grass green. We will bring that color down. I'll show you. Let's do each of these pokey areas. Once you get them all, then it all starts to kind of come together. Gonna get all these spiky little grass areas up around the pumpkin. We have to bring it down just a little bit. All right. Let's get up in here. All right, let's do this one. I think I'll try to get in up here on the side of his star gown. Same thing, we're gonna get in here, little pookie grass, and then next to the right of the pumpkin. I'm gonna have to sharpen again. It's not sharp enough now that I'm using it. I'm gonna need to get a little sharpened before we get this on to get the other side. We're gonna get all this grass in. All right, so here's a little spikier, so I want to get it sharper. So we just kind of go into the blade and then down a little, straight across, up into the blade, straight across. So it comes down a little so we can blend that next green into where it all kind of comes down. A little bit down. Okay. On this side, same thing in these little pokey areas. There you go. Again here. Okay. So in the areas like down here, where there's a lot more white space, I want to more gently blend in this green where I stopped it and bring it down just a little bit, but a little bit lighter, right? So we're going to do a little slower, lighten our pressure so it lightens it up. So it'll blend a little nicer into the next color as we work toward the bottom. Put a little right up here. Put a little right here. Right here. A little bit around that area. Okay, same up here. There's a lot of white space, so I'm going to bring it down soft just a little bit. Just kind of go straight across, bring it down, fill in just a little bit of that white space. Basically creating a little bit of a transition point for the next color to blend into. All right in here as well, I'm going to do this. A little bit down more right here. Okay, so now we can go to the next color, which the next medium color will be the apple green. All right. So let's go over to the far right. What we're going to do is we're going to blend this just a little bit over where that other color ends and up into it. Bring it down into the white area as we go across. So it looks like it's a natural grass, you know, transition from one color into the next. Bring this a little bit down. Down across here. Over here on the right. Okay. This little tiny one, I'm just going to get in just a little bit of that, leave some white for the final color. Kind of get in some right there. Oh, this little grassy area here, we want to go down. We'll fill that one all the way to the line. So this one, yeah, we'll bring it a little bit further down because we have a little more white area right here. Okay, it's coming in. Down here, this big one here, let's go kind of under the pumpkin where we don't have any of that, and then follow this line. Bring it down just a teeny bit. Okay, this one too at the very bottom, you're going to kind of go across it, bring it down, not all the way to the line. We'll leave a little patch, a little room for that spring green. But I'm really kind of blending into where the other green stopped. All right, between these two, you have to kind of fill in the rest of the white because you can't get that third color in just over these two. But this one I can bring down. So there's a little knolls, I think, this little center knoll. I can bring this one down. Okay. This one we're going to bring down here. Great. We're going to go a little bit here around these little leaves. Fill in a little bit of this color, but then we'll save room for the spring green. All this down here, so this here, I'm going to put it in around this where it ends, and then I'm going to bring it out this way. Okay. This one I'm going to bring down, fill in a little, bring it down very light. So all this right area, we can add in our final color. Up here, we want to get in a little bit. Blend it in. Okay. All right, we're gonna go over here, put a little between these two leaves. Fill this in. Alexa, stop. It's my reminder to go do something. Gonna go across here. I'm filling in this one, leaving some space for the spring green. Blending into this grass green. It's all coming together now. Okay. I hate when the it starts to curl a little, like I'm gonna go down the side here on the sides of the page because of the weight from your arm going over it all the time, I guess. All right, let's get over here around the robe and let's go underneath each section, blend into that grass green. Let's blend in. Okay. Lastly, we shall put in the spring green. Spring green has no card. I think I ran out of cards. Okay, so spring green, PC913, and basically all we're doing is blending in over the white areas and then a little bit into that apple green. So we're filling in the rest of all the white, but we're doing it in a soft, gentle pattern and with a light pressure. And it gives a nice little yellowish pop to the grass, and it gives it kind of like a two-dimensional effect. Makes it look less flat, everything come to life more. So I'm just going to fill in any white areas and kind of blend over the other colors here, all the way down. Da-da. So I'm going to go right on and fill up all this white space. Color this in. You're kind of filling up here, and you want kind of flat on the end of your pencil so you can, very soft, but consistently start to blend all these colors into the white area around your little knolls. Okay, filling it in. Go underneath this purple pumpkin, fill this in. Looking good. Ooh, there's a lot of details on this page. It's probably going to take me 3 days to do this tutorial. All right, I'm going to go around here. Gonna get alongside this green pumpkin and over everything here. Trying to get all the white space fully covered. Whew. All right. So all that green is in, and you can see the different kind of shadows or tones there. And so I still want to take the blender. For this, what I like to do is blend darker, the lighter areas upward. So I'll like do these lighter lime spring green areas and then go upward into the, and I focus my blending at the line of transition from one color to the next, so it looks a little more natural and soft. It's kind of the point of it. Okay, down here, we're just going to do into each little section, between each little knoll where the lighter colors are. The goal is to get these all blended. Let's go across here. I'm gonna go move to the upper left. Start in this area. Okay. Woo, my hand's starting to hurt a little. Get some good workout. We've got a nice blend going. All right. I'm just going to squiggle in. I need to soften up a few things, I feel like, here. Just do that until you get to that look you want. Yeah, it looks nice. You see a nice gradient, some shadows, some highlights. You get some texture because you get the dark light, all the way up into here. Yeah, it looks great. Just going to get a little bit between these leaves here. Okay. Just final touch up. Woo! Okay, we're done with the grass. Yay! So we're going to do the inside of the pumpkin. We're going to move up here, do the moon. Then I want to go into the bubbles and the cauldron. Work our way up. I just want to do the moon because it's so easy and it's only 2 colors. All right, we're going to move on.